Drew Peach Show.
BBC Radio Berkshire.
Now, whether you're going away in the coming days, the Competition and Markets Authority says the tourism industry needs to be much clearer about what happens if you cancel a booking. What are the rules? Paul Latham from the Competition and Markets Authority is here. Morning, Paul.
Morning, Andrew.
This is about you cancelling the holiday rather than the holiday being cancelled for some reasons beyond your control. And do any of us really know whether we're entitled to do that? And if we do, whether we lose all our money or what happens?
So we all take holidays, and we all run a risk of having to cancel through no fault of our own, perhaps due to an illness or a bereavement. And the law says that it's unfair for a business to insist on a large cancellation fee or to keep a large upfront deposit where that bears no relation to the actual losses that it experiences from the cancellation. So that's really what we are launching this campaign today about.
That's interesting. So, in other words, if you cancel and they're able to resell the holiday and there is no enormous loss, then they can't just say, oh, well, we'll have you $2,000 or whatever it is then. Sorry, bad luck. They're supposed to give you some kind of refund, at least in part. That's
exactly right. It's fine for them to keep a proportion of the cost that really reflects their losses. So if they have to remarket a property, for example, to find somebody else to stay in a cottage, a holiday cottage, or if they have other costs associated with taking payments and so on, that's fine. They're allowed to recoup their losses, but they can't just have terms and conditions that say that they can take really any sum they want if you cancel. It's clearly not the business's fault in these circumstances that you've cancelled on them, but the law says that it's only fair that they take something that reflects their losses rather than any sum that they like.
It's very hard to police. I mean, who's to say how much did it cost them to remarket the property, and did they get another booking that, reflected the one they lost and all of that? Who checks all that?
So we would expect the businesses to check that they're complying with the law, and that's really today's campaign message, is check in on your terms and conditions. We've got some really straightforward advice for businesses at gov.uk/fair terms. It is businesses' responsibility to comply with the law. The interesting thing about the Consumer Rights Act, and particularly about unfair contract terms rules, is that if a term in a contract is unfair legally, in the way I've described, it's unenforceable. And so the company can't lawfully take that cancellation fee from you if it's disproportionate. And if needs be, if they've already taken a deposit from you, you can ultimately go to court.
Right. But what you're wanting is, first of all, for the terms and conditions to be really clear, for us all to know what the deal is, and then for the rules to be applied properly.
That's right. We know most businesses want to comply with the law. We know, actually, that less than half of businesses as a whole say that they know the rules on unfair terms well. 18%, when we asked, had never heard of them. So we think the right thing to do, and we're working really closely with ABTA and some other travel industry associations, we think the right thing to do is to raise awareness and really encourage businesses to check their terms.
Thank you for coming on. Very good to talk to you. If you've had a problem with this when you've needed to cancel unexpectedly, be interested to hear whether you got some of the money back, perhaps more than you expected, or whether the company you were dealing with just tried to pocket the lot, which they're not supposed to. I didn't know that.